Gentlemen, synchronize your awareness. The year is 2026. Look at the average man, not on social media, but in real life. He is never still. If he is alone, he is scrolling. If he is waiting, he is consuming. If he is quiet, it is only because something is playing. Silence has been eliminated from modern life, and this was not accidental. The modern environment is engineered to prevent introspection, because introspection produces men who are difficult to manage. In 2026, attention is the most valuable currency, and the average man has none. He wakes up and reaches for stimulation, news, messages, metrics, noise. His nervous system never returns to baseline. He is perpetually activated, but directionless. Now, perform a simple test. Remove the inputs. No phone, no audio, no screen. Just a chair and time. Most men will experience discomfort. Within minutes, not boredom. Discomfort, the body tightens, the mind accelerates. This is not because silence is harmful. It is because it reveals what surfaces in silence is not random. It is unresolved material, failed ambitions, unspoken resentment, abandoned potential, questions that were never answered. Modern men do not process these things. They suppress them. Suppression requires energy, and that energy is supplied by constant stimulation. This is why silence feels threatening. Because silence removes the sedative. The average man has built an identity that only functions when distracted. His confidence depends on external input. His mood depends on novelty. His sense of self depends on reaction. When these disappear, so does his stability. This is why he panics in stillness. The inability to sit alone with one's thoughts is not a personality trait. It is a developmental failure. A psychologically integrated man does not fear his own internal environment. He can observe his thoughts without being consumed by them. He can feel emotion without immediately anesthetizing it. This capacity is now rare because it was never trained. Instead, men were trained to cope with noise, cope with stress, cope with dissatisfaction. Coping is not mastery. Coping is maintenance, and maintenance slowly erodes the psyche. In 2026, the overstimulated man mistakes activity for progress. He is always busy, but going nowhere. He avoids silence because silence asks a dangerous question. Is this life aligned? Most men are not prepared to answer, so they flee. They work longer, they consume more, they stay connected, but internally, they are fragmented. Silence is where fragmentation becomes visible. This is why it feels unbearable. But the man who stays, the man who does not escape, enters a different phase. Initially, the mind becomes louder. This is the purge, years of suppressed thought. Seeking resolution, this phase is misinterpreted as instability. It is not, it is organization. Most men retreat here, believing something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Something is finally being addressed. If a man remains, without judgment, without distraction, the mind begins to slow. Thoughts lose urgency, emotions lose charge, clarity emerges. This is not mystical, it is neurological. The nervous system learns that it does not need constant input to remain safe. This rewires behavior. A man who practices silence becomes less reactive, less impulsive, less manipulable. He stops reaching automatically. He chooses deliberately. This terrifies system that depend on predictable consumption. Because a man who can sit with himself cannot be easily sold fear. He cannot be easily pressured. He cannot be easily rushed. He has internal reference points. Most men outsource their sense of meaning to external validation. Silence retrieves it. This is why silence has been pathologized and reframed. Loneliness. Loneliness implies deficiency. Silence implies strength. The distinction matters. A man who can sit alone with his thoughts is not isolated. He is self-contained. This creates leverage in conversation. He listens. In conflict, he pauses. In chaos, he remains steady. Others feel this. Immediate. They cannot explain it, but they defer to it because calm signals control. In 2026, control is rare. The average man lives in reaction loops. Notifications dictate mood. Algorithms dictate opinion. Outrage dictates attention. Silence breaks the loop. It restores authorship. Over time, the man who practices stillness develops a quieter mind, not empty, but ordered. He becomes aware of internal patterns. Which thoughts are habitual, which fears are inherited, which desires are authentic. This discernment is power because it prevents self-betrayal. Most men betray themselves daily. Without realizing it, they say yes when they mean no. They pursue paths that do not fit. They adopt identities that were never chosen. Silence exposes this, and exposure is uncomfortable But it is corrective. This is why the modern man avoids it, but the disciplined man seeks it, because he understands that peace is not the absence of activity, it is the presence of alignment. Eventually, silence stops feeling empty. It begins to feel stable. The man no longer fears being alone, because he is no longer fragmented. He has met himself. This changes how he moves. He does not rush, he does not chase, he does not perform. He operates quietly. And in a culture addicted to stimulation, this is perceived as dominance. Remember this: if you cannot sit alone with your thoughts, they control you. If you can, nothing else does. Silence is not where men weaken, it is where they consolidate. Stay still, stay disciplined, stay sovereign.